try again. Okay, just doing this recording to walk through what I was up to in that Mega 65 ROM repo. Within that repo, just make the font a bit bigger. Yeah, I added a test branch. It's 65 ROM tests repo contents as a submodule, which will go into the test subfolder here. Mainly because that would make it publicly visible, so if anyone visits Mega 65 and then goes to Mega 65 ROM tests, see that repo, and that way anyone can see the various tests and welcome to add their own tests. So just plain vanilla basic 10 or basic 65. Just maybe to explain where all of these tests came from, they're all from Ubik's original tests. He made an original test suite very early. Tests. Try. This is also on our. Actually, maybe we'll just rub that with you. I go to files, mega65.org to search for B65 tests. Yeah, that's Ubik's. I say Ubik with. Yeah, that's his original test suite, and that's the latest version he provided. And maybe to see what it was, we can try and run it just so you see how it used to perform. Boot into it, or just run the first thing on the disk, and it'll find all the tests within and then run them one by one. If it had found an error on, maybe a certain ROM broke something, it would stop at the broken one and it wouldn't continue to work. Basically it was the directory has all those tests. Like he provided a test number and a test name. Submodule that I created, I basically initially I extracted out his tests one by one using the Vice's PetCat tool. After that, I kind of transitioned his tests from his old test suite into his newer M65 base unit test framework. So you can have a look at the commit I did for that. So I like how do I explain the transition? I think 50 was the test number, so it used to be called T050 num arrays.bash. So this was part of the B65 support bin files technique mentioned in the manual. If you look for B65 support.bin, this was like Bit Shifter wrote a library that could be loaded in so that you could write unit tests in BASIC, and so you'd have to specify the test number with this sort of call with a user. If you wanted to provide a test name, you'd say quote equals test name, things like that, and they get passed back. So yeah, I basically added in things like that for the unit test framework. 50 for the test number equals the test name num arrays, In the past, he would stop, like you can see here. If there's an issue, he used to stop, or here sometimes he'd list the line number with the error. Instead, what I do is I just go to like a line which provides the fail command, then a done for finishing off the test. I mean, whether this is good or bad, I don't know. It's my first attempt at it. But if the test goes all the way through, it does a user P, which is pass, sends the pass result back, done. And yeah, I've kind of just rearranged all the tests in that fashion. So where there used to be a stop, there's now a go to 999 for a fail and a done message back. If it goes all the way through, a pass and a done. Yeah, I've just altered them all the way like that. Once in a while, I also sent a text message back, like a reason for why it failed. Maybe that might be useful. As for the backstory of all these tests, I'm not that familiar with these tests. Probably Ubik and Bit Shifter conversed more about the reasoning behind these, probably as they kind of worked with each other on each iteration of the ROM. I imagine Ubik would have discovered things along the way and made tests for them to assure that those issues wouldn't appear in future ROMs. And he'd sort of let Bit Shifter know along the way if any of these tests regressed. Um, yeah, without knowing a great deal about these existing tests, I've just inherited them all. Then there was like how to run them. I guess my hope was to try and run them on Xemu for now. I know we can eventually run them on hardware too. I thought it might be nice one day, maybe whether it's automated to run on Travis or Jenkins. It might be nice to be able to run these there. Um, so yeah, that was another aspect. If I can try demonstrate what I got up to there. Okay, test folder I added. Um, there was a make file I added, which I put up in the browser. It's not the prettiest thing. Things I attempted to do, I should probably go through some of those things. Calling petcat multiple times for anything in this PRG folder. I think initially I extracted all of these PRGs out from Ubik's D81 file with the intention of converting to BAS files. The reason was I wanted to anybody in the community to be able to browse these tests, read them, and understand how they worked. And I wanted it to be public and they could add files. And I wanted it to be in ASCII form so that they didn't necessarily have to jump onto a Mega 65 or Xemu to view these tests or even to write these tests. My hope was they could just add a .bas file in here and eventually the make file might be able to, well, I think that this logic was working a bit, going from BAS to prog, back again, calling petcat. I think this was sort of blunt brute force targets I made initially. I think I made more polite ones later on. I think this is the more polite way to do it. Yeah, any BAS files, make the prog file out of them. Yeah, and I was thinking it might be nice to recycle his run suite, but for now I haven't. I mean, I've tried to regenerate a D81 file here and sort of concatenate all the prog files back onto the disk for all those test prog files and then attach that D81 and write those prog files back to a test disk. So I'm thinking that might be a nice thing to do and use his runner perhaps. But for now, I'm not making great use of that. But really, maybe for now, more my win so far is on this run test target where I call my tweaked version of the Xemu emulator. I select a bit and then I feed in that B665 support bin file into memory and then I run it so that the test logic library is available to BASIC. And then I loop through all those test programs and I passed them across via the unit test framework, and I add the logs for those results into that B65 test log file. And so that loops over test by test. It's a bit slow, but well, anyway, it's just my first attempt at it. And at the end, it just says test completed. Yeah, this is my tweaked version of the ZMU emulator where I added a bit of extra UART monitor improvements so that sort of UART conversations over TCP would work better. So yeah, I guess we can try it and we can see how it behaves for now. Oh, I've maybe I shouldn't. It's writing those files, but the real thing it put that support library, it'll pass that across, and then it'll run sys. Yep, one test in, maybe I'll push it and runs it. It checks another one and runs it. And you're seeing some output here: start, pass, done. So it's running loop types test, and it passed. Running string focus test, that one passed. So a bit slow, but yeah. Maybe next step might be to get ZEMU to run in some sort of headless mode, and then this sort of thing could run happily on Travis or Jenkins. And maybe the thought of why using Ubik's runner tool might be nicer was, passing this across M65 tool to ZEMU is still a bit slow. It's faster on the target to do such things, but yeah, on ZEMU and on my branch, it's still very slow. So maybe using his runner might give us a speed improvement there, but yeah, I'd have to sort of ponder how such things. Oh, yeah, maybe the odd thing is like the test numbers aren't coming through here. It's always saying test 0. So I'm guessing maybe it just says test complete there. Maybe there's been some change in the protocol that this B65 support bin library isn't aware of yet. It has to be updated. But apart from that, it ran. If I open that B65 tests log file, yeah, all the output is there. Pass, 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 pass. Yeah, whether this is the right way or best way to do it, I don't know, but it's an initial attempt at doing it some way. As for what spawned this on was, I'd hoped to write some tests myself because I was thinking of adding that elif support, if, elif, else for basic 65. I probably won't have the time to do it, but I thought at least maybe write a test to lock in existing if-else behavior, just so I don't break anything. But anyway, that's the backstory. I'll probably end it there and try and share the video somewhere. Okay.